This page is the cover of the Nintendo official magazine, showcasing the incredible popularity of Pokémon Gold and Silver, heralding it as the best Game Boy adventure ever. We're also treated to a glimpse of Mario Bros. Advance, and a tease for Conker's Bad Fur Day, promising to be the rudest N64 game. With a price of £2.99, this issue promises all the latest news, previews and exclusive GameCube content for all you eager gamers out there. It's a vibrant and exciting cover, perfectly capturing the excitement of the era. This page is a full-page advert for Robinson Squash, promoting a competition to win an invitation to spend a Saturday morning in the SMTV studio watching Ant, Dec and Cat. This page is a fantastic look at the Team Nintendo, who, according to the magazine, are the reason for its success. It boldly proclaims that this is the UK's biggest-selling Nintendo magazine, and it certainly seems to have a passionate team behind it. We've got Tim, Barry, Mark, Alex, Sean, Dave, Nicola, and Rich, all looking rather chuffed with themselves. They're promising you'll get all the latest Nintendo 64 and Game Boy Color info first, the best screenshots, and tips that actually work. Plus, they're so confident you'll trust their writers, they even say it's not worth buying any other magazines. Bit cheeky, but I like it. On the right it gives you all the ways to get in touch, whether by post to a map active or by email for different sections like general Nintendo questions, game reviews, or even Game Boy stuff. They also helpfully inform you if you can't find the mag in shops, you can call customer services. And of course there's a rather cheerful Pikachu gracing the front cover of the included Nintendo official magazine, promising Gold and Silver and Mario Bros. Advance. It's all very positive and enthusiastic, just what you'd expect from a magazine dedicated to all things Nintendo. This page is all about Pokémon Gold and Silver, and it's hyping up the first UK review, along with everything you need to know. We're also getting a peek at new trainer gadgets and some Worlds of Wonder, plus new heroes and villains. On top of that, it's diving into Conker's BFD, promising it's lewd, crude, and more than a little bit rude. Classic Conker. Plus there's a look at some hot new game news featuring titles like Aiding Chronicles, Animal Forest, and Paper Mario. It's a packed issue for Nintendo fans. This page is absolutely buzzing with previews and reviews, starting with a massive reviews section covering Star Wars Episode 1, Battle for Naboo on the N64. It looks like the reviewers are pretty impressed with the Space Blaster action, urging you to feel the Force. Then there's Rugrats in Paris on page 30, promising ankle biters and Nintendo fun and thrills with a glimpse of Paris. Following that, the Awesome Collection on page 33 is aimed at hardcore N64 fans, suggesting if a game isn't in this collection it's simply not worth owning, a bold statement indeed. Over in the Blagfest section they're hyping up the UK's first copies of Pokémon Gold and Silver, plus some hilariously named hilarious Tweety Pie toys and Batman of the Future videos. Game Guides is here to help you win every time with Twine on page 52, and you can also grab guides for Puzzle League and Majora's Mask. Plus, official tips and your scores are on hand to sort out all your gaming needs. And what's this? A free Game Boy magazine. This one's got Mario Advance and Harvest Moon 2 covered, and it's promising to be the first and best. Looks like a must-have for any Game Boy aficionado wanting farming sim goodness. This page is all about the utterly bonkers Conker's Bad Fur Day. We're told to pack off the parents and prepare for the rudest N64 game ever, filled with swearing and toilet humor. The game info section confirms it's by Rare, a 3D platformer with a late March release. The Animal Matters section highlights Conker's surprising cuteness, contrasting with his foul mouth, and a world of trash-talking characters and toilet humor aplenty. We see a screenshot of Conker looking ready for action, and another of him hoverboarding through a fiery cave, hinting at the crazy adventures to come. The reviewer seems to think it's hilariously crude, with revolting bosses and filthy language that would make your mum blush, but they love it. This page is a full-page advert for Conker's Bad Fur Day, boldly proclaiming warning, foul language, with the notoriously crude squirrel front and center brandishing a weapon. This page dives into the chaotic world of Conker's Bad Fur Day. We get a glimpse of Conker's wild night, starting with him as a king, and then stumbling through an alley after a bit too much to drink. The review highlights the game's blend of platforming, with the dark humor of Perfect Dark, which is a rather interesting combination if you ask me. Then, we shift to the main plot. Conker overhears a conversation about an impending invasion of his squirrel homeland by teddy bears, the Teddies. It sounds like Conker, in his usual state, is the only one who can save the day, which frankly, sounds like a recipe for disaster and hilarity. The page also teases the crazy cast of characters we'll meet, introducing us to Berry and Birdie, and even a mention of Frankie, Ron and Reg. It definitely sets the stage for some unique and frankly, rather rude, adventures. This page introduces us to some of the rather peculiar characters Conker will encounter in his boozy escapades. We first meet Death, or the Grim Reaper as he's known, who seems to have a penchant for existential chats. Then we're plunged into the unspeakable horrors of the Slippery Customer, a boss that's literally a giant pile of poo, which Conker must defeat using toilet paper. Talk about a glamorous job. We also get a brief look at some other notable inhabitants of Conker's world, the regal but rather nasty Panther King, the buzzing Mr. King Bee, the utterly disgusting Beetles, and the perpetually grumpy Carl. It's a bizarre lineup, but that's exactly what we've come to expect from Conker. This page dives into the chaotic fun of Conker's Bad Fur Day, showcasing two distinct gameplay segments. First, under Spill Some Claret, we get a glimpse of Conker's rather messy encounters, with descriptions warning of gratuitous gore and splatter that'll make you squirm. It sounds like a real treat for those who like their action bloody. Then, we shift gears to Race the River, highlighting the Wave Race 64-inspired gameplay. It looks like Conker's trading his usual brand of mayhem for some high-octane hoverboard racing on a scorching lava river. The reviewer clearly thinks this is a white-knuckle experience for speed freaks, and the unyielding track sounds like it's not for the faint of heart. Over on the right, Blaster Master showcases Conker's multiplayer might in Conker's Shell Shock. It's all about cooperative tank battles, where one player controls the mean machine and the other is free to blast everything in sight. The reviewer's verdict? We've been crying out for a more mature Nintendo game, and with its filthy jokes and disgusting baddies, Conker's BFD will be a belter. Just don't let Mum see it. Sounds like it's a hit with the critics, for its adult humor and action. This page is a full-page advert for UCAS, promoting university education. It uses a bold, attention-grabbing question. Can you afford not to go to university? Followed by bullet points highlighting the financial benefits of graduating. This page is a fantastic showcase of new releases, featuring a bold New Game Reviews headline. We get a glimpse into the scoring system, with real rubbish at the bottom and a coveted, amazing game you must play, at the top. Pokémon Gold and Silver for Game Boy is highlighted as the greatest GB adventure ever made, and I can attest, it truly was. Nintendo 64 fans are treated to a review of Star Wars Episode 1, Battle for Naboo, promising, force-wielding fun. Rugrats in Paris also gets a mention for N64, sounding like a chaotic party game. The £24.99 price tag for Pokémon, and its the 6th of April release date are clearly laid out. And let's not forget the iconic artwork of Who, looking magnificent as ever. It's a promising look at what's to come. This page really sets the stage for Pokémon Gold and Silver, immediately throwing you into the hype with the right here, right now headline. It's like they knew exactly how we felt, wanting to dive back into the world of Pokémon. The screenshots are a brilliant tease, showing off that classic Game Boy graphics style but hinting at the new adventures. We're treated to some classic battling action with Pikachu and Clefairy, then a glimpse of a new water-based Pokémon and a character screen that screams, new trainers, new challenges. The text accompanying these images is spot on, reminding us how incredible it was to have 100 new Pokémon to discover after finishing Red and Blue. That bit about the master trainer who's got everything really hit home. We were all that person, weren't we? The review text itself is pure gold, promising a game bristling with ace new features and incredible challenges. And that final blurb. Unplug the phone, shut the curtains and get ready to read all about it. That's exactly the kind of immersion we craved, and Pokémon Gold and Silver delivered it in spades. The Nintendo official magazine Awesome tag is the cherry on top, confirming what we already knew, this was going to be a legendary sequel. This page dives headfirst into Pokémon Gold and Silver, focusing on how the game's day and night cycle adds a new layer of realism. It explains that the in-game time syncs with your Game Boy's clock, meaning it gets dark from 6 in the evening to 4 in the morning, and certain Pokémon only appear at night, like the Hoot Hoot shown in a rather spooky forest scene. It also touches on how certain events are tied to specific days of the week. The Getting on the Road section introduces the starter Pokémon, showcasing Totodile, Cyndaquil and Chikorita, giving a brief overview of their evolutionary paths and their strengths. The reviewer clearly thinks Chikorita is a bit of a challenge for beginners, which is fair enough. Then, we're introduced to your rival, a new character who's apparently a nasty piece of work and a thief, making Gary Oak look like a fluffy bunny by comparison. The reviewer's tone is spot on, capturing that feeling of excitement and anticipation for what this new Pokemon generation has to offer. It's got that classic Nintendo magazine vibe, making you want to grab your Game Boy and get playing immediately. This page continues our in-depth look at Pokemon Gold and Silver, showcasing some brilliant new features. We start with a look at the In the Bag section, highlighting the revamped inventory system which makes storing your TMS, items, and Pokeballs a doddle, freeing up precious pockets. Next up is the amazing Pokegear, a fantastic new wrist-worn computer that serves as a Pokedex, mobile phone and radio, truly a gamer's dream gadget. It even lets you save phone numbers for advice from Professor Oak and other characters. Then we dive into the Pokedex help, explaining how the new Pokedex is a massive improvement, allowing you to search for Pokemon by type, find out their evolutionary order or even go alphabetical. It even shows you where to find specific Pokemon once you've caught one. The screenshot of Miltank's nest is a great preview of the world, and the option screen for the Pokedex modes looks incredibly useful. The reviewer is clearly impressed with how much more user-friendly everything has become, making finding and organizing your Pokemon a breeze. It's a real testament to how much Gold and Silver is evolving the series. Pokemon Gold and Silver introduce engaging new features beyond core gameplay. Players can breed Pokemon by leaving compatible pairs at the daycare center, potentially resulting in offspring inheriting moves from both parents. The Pokegear enhances interaction, allowing phone calls from trainers for rematches and rare Pokemon tips. Professor Elm keeps players updated on discoveries. Trading is expanded. Pokemon can be traded between Gold and Silver, and even imported from Red, Blue and Yellow, though not vice versa. The game boasts improved audio, with a wider variety of sound effects and new music. Overall, Gold and Silver aren't just evolving the Pokemon formula, but adding charming new ways to connect with the game world and other players. This page is a full-page advert for McVitie's Jaffa Cakes, featuring Manchester United figurines and the slogan, "Are you sharing 'em?" This page showcases an excerpt from a Dear Diary review of Pokemon Gold and Silver, offering a glimpse into the player's adventures. We see a charming illustration of the game's protagonist, and a series of screenshots and map segments detailing the player's progress on different days. On Sunday, the player visits Goldenrod City and acquires some rather unpleasant-tasting medicine. Saturday sees the player in Blackthorn City, meeting a chap named Santos who gives them a spell tag, much to Gengar's delight. Friday's entry details catching a Lapras in the Union Cave after a bit of a confusing search. The overall map provides a visual guide to these locations, with numbered markers corresponding to the diary entries. It's a rather neat way to show off the game's world and progression. This page features a fantastic look at Pokemon Gold and Silver, detailing specific in-game events on different days. We see the protagonist sailing on the SS Aqua on Monday, heading to Olivine City. On Tuesday, there's a battle with a Geodude in National Park during the bug-catching competition, where the player snagged a Scyther. Wednesday brings a black belt from a guy at the Lake of Rage, and Thursday's entry shows the player getting their Pokemon groomed in Goldenrod City. The accompanying map segments really help you pinpoint these locations and follow the journey. It's a great insight into the day-to-day life of a Pokemon trainer. This page is a guide to the gym leaders in Pokemon Gold and Silver, helping you prepare for battles. We meet Faulkner, Bugsy, Whitney, Morty, Chuck, Jasmine, Price and Claire, detailing their cities and the rewards you'll get for defeating them. The reviewer notes that these leaders are much tougher than those in the previous games. There's also a section on Poke FM, the in-game radio, which offers helpful tips and music. Finally, a small snippet on Free Pressies mentions the cool new features, like the mystery gift option, and the ability to connect your Game Boy Color with others. This page delves into the finer points of Pokemon Gold and Silver, offering advice on how to keep your team happy and ready for battle. We learn about feeding your Pokemon for stat boosts, grooming them to improve their mood, and the importance of healing them after tough duels. The reviewer emphasizes that a happy Pokemon fights better, a sentiment I can certainly get behind after countless hours spent battling. A particularly interesting tidbit is the mention of Handy Headbutt, a move you can teach your Pokemon to access special areas, specifically mentioning Ipom and Heracross found in triangular-shaped trees. It's these little secrets that really make the world of Pokemon feel alive. The page also touches upon the multiplayer feature, highlighting the link cable and the mystery gift option as top ideas. I remember the excitement of trading Pokemon and receiving special gifts. Pure magic. The bottom half of the page is a rather snazzy advert for Nokia ringtones and graphics, inviting you to call a premium rate number to download them for your mobile. It's a stark reminder of how far mobile technology has come, but back then, getting your favorite Pokemon or a football team's crest onto your phone was the height of cool. There's a great selection of football teams, and even some pop star themes like Madonna and Britney Spears. Honestly, some of these ringtones probably sounded like a dying dial-up modem, but we loved them anyway. This page is a review of Pokemon Gold and Silver, highlighting two key features, the Game Boy printer, and the card-flipping gambling game. The reviewer praises the printer for allowing players to print Pokédex entries, showing off their beast's stats, and mentions a character in Cianwood City who can help with this. It also touches on shopping for items in Goldenrod Department Store and small chemists in Cianwood City for medicine. The game receives a stellar 97% score, with the reviewer enthusiastically declaring it a revelation and a finest Game Boy titles ever made. They suggest it's a must-buy, particularly lauding the gameplay, graphics, excitement, and lastability. The page also features a cute illustration of a Pokemon, likely Hoppip. This page is a full-page advert for Science Year, promoting the concept of laughter as science. It features a thermometer graphic that humorously tracks the heat of fame, from born Richard Blackwood at 70, to now hot stuff with his own chat show at 100, with a picture of Richard Blackwood at the bottom. It also includes a call to action to visit www.scienceyear.co.uk or call 0800 66 0800 for a free science pack. This page dives into Star Wars Episode 1, Battle for Naboo. It's a review that really sets the scene, telling us we're playing as Lieutenant Gavin Sykes, tasked with protecting Naboo from the Trade Federation. The reviewer clearly thinks this is a worthy successor to Rogue Squadron, praising the landscapes as lush and the gameplay as a fantastic way to feel like a Jedi. We get a look at a few of the starships you'll be piloting, including the Flash Speeder, Gunboat, and Starfighter, with the latter being particularly lauded. Apparently, the Trade Federation Gunboat is a real bruiser, packing a punch. The reviewer's verdict is glowing, calling it possibly the last and best Star Wars game for the Nintendo 64, promising a supercharged experience. It sounds like a real blast from a galaxy far, far away. This page dives into the mechanics of Star Wars Episode 1, Battle for Naboo, highlighting a key improvement, the ability to change craft mid-mission. It illustrates this with 4 screenshots, showing a change from a Flash Speeder to a police cruiser, with the latter being described as a police craft. The page also features a section on the in-game radar, explaining how to interpret the symbols to locate targets and objectives, with a particular mention of an orange triangle indicating mission goals. There's also a brief look at the Heavy Stap, a less glamorous but useful craft for cleaning up tail enders. On the gaming front, the page offers mini-reviews for 2 other Nintendo 64 Star Wars titles. Star Wars Shadows of the Empire is described as a cocktail of genres in the Star Wars universe, but ultimately deemed not great, despite its moments. In contrast, Star Wars Rogue Squadron is met with much higher praise, with the reviewer noting it's as fun as ever, allowing players to truly embody an 8-wing pilot. It sounds like a classic that still holds up. This page dives deep into Star Wars Battle for Naboo, praising its incredible sound design, which is a stunning rendition of John Williams' score. It's an absolute treat for the ears, and a testament to the Nintendo 64's capabilities. The Control Yourself section offers some handy tips for mastering your craft, including a neat trick for tighter turns and slowing down your craft with the Z button. Apparently this can give you a vital extra split second for thinking. We also get a look at some of the game's visual flair, with one screenshot showing Natalie Portman as Queen Amidala, which the reviewer describes as drop-dead gorgeous and yummy. The game's ties to the Phantom Menace are clearly celebrated, especially the authentic detail and recreated exotic locations. And of course, no Star Wars experience would be complete without that iconic opening crawl, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. This game definitely hits all the right notes for fans, offering a fantastic bridge into the film's climax with its Federation control ship segment. This page delves into the secrets of Star Wars Battle for Naboo, revealing hidden levels and new craft to unlock. It highlights the game's engaging gameplay, with a mention of the passcodes feature that offers hints from the developers, and the gallery mode for a peek at original artwork. The review praises the game's challenge, particularly the Medals of Honor, that require high performance to obtain, and notes that the single-player adventure offers plenty of replayability. There's also a prominent advert for Get Connected, a free helpline for young people. This page is a review of Star Wars Battle for Naboo, comparing it to the original Rogue Squadron. It kicks off with game length, suggesting plenty of replayability, and then dives into location, showcasing 4 distinct environments with accompanying screenshots and descriptions of their challenges. The review then moves to prequel-sequel showdown, a direct comparison of the 2 games, touching on graphics and missions. It then discusses the ships available in each game, and whether Battle for Naboo offers any hidden secrets, concluding that it doesn't. Under 2's company, it highlights the game's secondary weapon, the bomb, praising its effectiveness. Finally, the verdict gives Battle for Naboo a solid 85% score, declaring it an intense, challenging blaster that's well worth checking out, even if it doesn't quite capture the magic of its predecessor. This page is a cracking full-page advert for Pokémon Gold and Silver, teasing 604.01 Fly With Me in Johto. It showcases the beautiful Johto region map and the legendary Lugia, promising a whole new world with an incredible number of new Pokémon coming soon for your Game Boy. A must-see for any Poké fan. This page gives us a review of Rugrats in Paris for the Nintendo 64. The reviewer seems to think it's a decent enough game, especially if you're a fan of the show, though they do hint that it might be a bit on the simple side for older gamers. It's described as a theme park adventure, where you collect tokens, play minigames, and ride attractions. The graphics are noted as being pretty good, with the characters looking a bit weird in 3D, which is a classic observation for N64 titles of that era. The minigames, like Dodgeball and a Sticky Tongue game, are highlighted as being quite fun. Overall, it sounds like a perfectly acceptable outing for Tommy, Chucky, and the gang, if not exactly groundbreaking. This page continues the review of Rugrats in Paris, diving deeper into the gameplay and the overall experience. We're shown screenshots of various minigames and attractions within the theme park. The reviewer seems to enjoy the Toss Your Cookies minigame, noting its addictive nature, and also highlights the In Whack a Ninja game as a particular favorite, praising its simple yet engaging challenge. The progression through the park involves collecting tickets to unlock new areas and rides, which the reviewer finds a decent hook for younger players. The graphics are described as colorful and fitting for the Rugrats universe, though the reviewer does mention that some of the character models look a tad weird in 3D. Overall, it sounds like a charming if not overly complex adventure for fans of the show. This page is a fantastic full-page advert for the Pokémon Master Guide, edition number 5. It's basically a love letter to Pokémon Gold and Silver, promising all the vital info you need, including previews, tips for all the games, and even a peek at the Pokémon 2000 movie. With exclusive shots and details on the latest toys and cards, this guide is clearly aimed at anyone who wants to be the ultimate Pokémon master. It costs £3.75, and it's on sale now. This page is a fantastic full-page advert for the Awesome Collection from Nintendo. It showcases the Nintendo 64 Awesome tag, highlighting various games like Perfect Dark and others, all presented as part of this special collection. The bold text at the bottom assures us that these games are completely tested by our experts, and are all the games you must have. It's a clear call to action for N64 fans looking for the best gaming experiences. This page is a fantastic roundup of some of the best Nintendo 64 games available, all part of the Awesome Collection. We've got Banjo-Kazooie, praised for its platforming and charm, and Beetle Adventure Racing, a surprisingly fun kart racer with impressive handling. Then there's Donald Duck Quack Attack, which reviewer clearly found a bit too much to handle. Donkey Kong 64 gets a nod for its massive scope, and Diddy Kong Racing is rightfully celebrated for revolutionizing the karting genre. The page also touches on Duke Nukem 0 Hour and ECW Hardcore Revolution, though the latter's reviewer seemed less than impressed. Finally, we get a look at the official Nintendo 64 controller and a third-party alternative, the 64 controller, both getting positive mentions for their comfort and functionality. It's a good, solid look at some of the N64's finest. This collection of N64 game reviews highlights several standout titles. Excitebike 64 delivers fun, challenging motocross despite slightly slow handling. F-Zero X lives up to its name with thrilling, high-speed racing. For Formula One fans, F1 Racing offers realistic handling and tuning, while F1 World Grand Prix 2 is strong but lacks 4-player mode. GoldenEye 007 is praised as a landmark first-person shooter, with excellent single and multiplayer experiences. Football fans can enjoy FIFA 99's realistic thrills, or ISS 98's multiplayer focus. The review also covers N64 controllers, recommending the uniquely designed Manta Ray and HyperPad Plus for comfort and features like autofire, and the G64 controller as a budget-friendly option. This page features a collection of game reviews from Nintendo Official Magazine UK. We start with International Track and Field, which is praised for its perfect set of old scores and rivalry, offering a good combination of speed and timing. Next up is Mario Golf, a very playable sim with charming visuals, though it's not quite as hectic as GoldenEye. Then we delve into Jet Force Gemini, a solid action-adventure with hot rod running and challenging puzzles, although the reviewer found the multiplayer verdict to be not quite as good as hoped. Mario Kart 64 is hailed as one of the best multiplayer games on the N64, with its Grand Prix mode being a little easy if you remember the original. Mario Party 2 is also a winner, with hours of fun mini-games for everyone. Lilac Wars is a blast from the past, a space blaster with plenty of stuff to blow up, and the reviewer enjoyed the classic blasting and impressive bosses. Finally, Mario Tennis is lauded as wicked fun, with excellent depth, perfect for playing with your mates. The page also includes a mention of Rumble Packs and the rechargeable Jolt Pack. This page showcases the awesome collection of Nintendo 64 games, with a strong focus on the classics. We begin with Mickey's Speedway USA, a fun kart racer praised for its pure, unadulterated fun, but lacking the depth of some rivals. Then, Mortal Kombat 4 is lauded as a brutal, but ultimately satisfying, fighter that's a real treat for fans of the series, especially with its impressive combo system. Moving on, NFL Quarterback Club 99 is reviewed as a solid American football simulation, though perhaps not quite reaching the heights of some of its competitors. Operation Winback offers a tactical stealth experience that's a tad bit clunky, but still a lot of fun, especially for those who enjoy a challenge. The page also highlights the Nintendo 64's accessories. The Gamester is a handy memory card and adapter combo, and the Jolt Pack is a cheap and cheerful rumble pack that's a worthy addition to any gamer's collection. We also see Perfect Dark, a spiritual successor to GoldenEye that's packed with action and intrigue, and Pokémon Puzzle League, a great puzzler that's as addictive as it is challenging. Finally, Pokémon Stadium is celebrated for its fantastic Pokémon battling action, and Premier Manager 64 offers a deep management simulation for football fans. This page features What We're Playing, a look at the games being enjoyed by the team. We dive into Donkey Kong 64, with Tamsin praising its groovy minigames and Rambi Arena. Then, Perfect Dark gets a nod from Mark, who loves Joanna Dark and the overall experience. Pokémon Gold and Silver is highlighted by Dave, who's already got a tough Lugia. On the review side, Quake 2 is hailed as a triumph with great graphics and plenty of options, while Rayman 2 is celebrated for its stunning visuals and exciting moments. Resident Evil 2 is called a classic, with terrifying scares and jump-out-of-your-seat action. Ridge Racer 64 is noted for its lightning-fast racing and cool cars. We also get a look at the Nintendo controller, Pack 256K and the 8MB memory, both essential accessories for any serious gamer. This page showcases some cracking N64 titles for our consideration. We've got Rocket Robot on Wheels, a charming platformer that's a doddle to get into, and Rogue Squadron, a must-have for Star Wars fans with its authentic spacecraft handling. Then there's Shadow Man, a spooky romp with a decent plot, and the wonderfully chaotic South Park, which is as hilarious and playable as you'd expect. Over on the other side, it's a karting showdown with South Park Rally, offering frantic multiplayer fun. Star Wars Episode 1 Racer is also present, capturing the spirit of the film with fast-paced pod racing. Finally, the legendary Super Mario 64 gets another mention, still proving that it's a platforming pioneer with its inventive levels and secret-filled worlds. We also see some essential N64 memory cards, because who wants to lose all that precious save data, eh? This page is a retrospective look at some absolutely cracking Nintendo 64 titles. We start with Super Smash Bros., which is a fantastic brawler that anyone can pick up and play, and Tony Hawk's Skateboarding, which, despite its controls, really captures the spirit of extreme sports. Then we have Tarzan, a fun platformer based on the Disney film, and Turok Rage Wars, a solid multiplayer shooter. The page also touches on Turok 2, Seeds of Evil, which is a gore-fest of a shooter, and Twine, a decent Bond-themed shooter. Finally, we get a look at some accessories with the steering wheels, specifically the Logic 3 Top Drive Plus and the Thrustmaster Formula Race Pro, both promising to enhance your driving game. This page delves into some absolute classics, starting with a glowing review of WWF Attitude, a wrestling sim that's a real treat for fans, packed with options and multiplayer fun. Next up is WWF No Mercy, a title hailed as the best wrestling experience on the N64, with even more characters and modes for endless replayability. We then shift gears to the magical world of The Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask, praised for its unique puzzles and engaging adventure. Following that is The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, another masterpiece that promises an epic journey through Hyrule. The page also includes a spotlight on the who's who of gaming, featuring Rareware and their incredible history, from the days of the Sinclair Spectrum to their N64 triumphs like Donkey Kong Country and Killer Instinct. Finally, it rounds off with a look at some essential N64 peripherals, the Guillemot and Interact racing wheels, and the Guillemot Race 64 Compact, all designed to enhance your gaming experience. This page is a fantastic dive into the awesome collection of N64 games, with the headline, Worth a Look. We've got a rundown of some truly memorable titles that might just be worth your street. First up, we revisit Wile Golf, a game so bad it's good, apparently offering an insomnia-inducing experience with its flat graphics and single course. Then there's Cruising USA, which looks a bit dated, but the reviewer notes it's easier to pick up than Dad's Dance Moves, with a playable two-player mode. The main attraction is a selection of games that came pretty darn close to getting an awesome award. We have South Park Chef's Love Shack, Command & Conquer, Duck Dodgers, ISS 2000, Micro Machines 64, Mystical Ninja, NBA Jam 99, Pokemon Snap, Roadsters, Supercross 2000, Vigilante 8 Second Offense, Wheatrix, Wipeout 64, World Driver Champ, Xena Warrior Princess, and Yoshi's Story. The reviews are brief and to the point, highlighting strengths and weaknesses, with most games scoring pretty highly, often around the 80s and 90s. It seems like the reviewers had a blast with most of these, though some were clearly more impressive than others. The page also features a sales chart with a top 10 list of games, and some smaller screenshots of LEGO Racers, Formula 1, Mario Tennis and Ringshot 50. LEGO Racers is described as great for young players, with forgiving controls and colorful graphics. This page is a PlayStation 2 promotional extravaganza, featuring a Win a Sony PlayStation 2 competition, where you can win the console, a memory card, and your choice of game, plus a remote control for DVD playback. There's also a prize buster competition for the chance to win Dreamcasts, mini hi-fis and more. Plus, you can win wrestling tickets for Earl's Court, Pokemon Gold and Silver, a laptop computer, and even a boxed set of trading cards. Don't forget the chance to snag a Nintendo 64, wrestling goodies, and the new PS1. This page is all about giving you the edge with official tips from the masters. We've got the lowdown on unlocking some tasty multiplayer goodies in James Bond, The World Is Not Enough, with secrets for the Hill and Forest multiplayer stages. Plus, we dive into WWF No Mercy, revealing how to unlock all the secret characters and giving you the lowdown on survival mode unlocks. Get ready to smash it! This page is packed with secrets for two absolute classics. First up, Banjo-Kazooie is dishing out mysterious eggs with codes to help you on your quest. Then, buckle up for Mickey's Speedway USA, where you can unlock special cheats to dominate the race, including getting unlimited continues by earning gold or silver in tournaments. We've also got a handy guide to the controller icons, so you'll know your L from your AR and master those tricky button combinations. It's all about getting the most out of these N64 gems. This page is absolutely brimming with essential tips for some of the N64's biggest hitters. We're diving into the world of GoldenEye 007 with some incredible classic cheats, like invincibility and all guns handy for when you need to go Rambo on the bad guys. Then, it's on to Mario Tennis, where you can unlock Shy Guy and Donkey Kong Jr. for some extra fun on the court. Next up, we've got Speedway USA Secrets, letting you unlock Donald's nephew, Dewey, a character I'm sure we all remember fondly. And for wrestling fans, WWF No Mercy gives you tips for quick wins, which is perfect for blitzing through those matches. Finally, for all you Perfect Dark aficionados, there's a great bit about unlocking Elvis, which is just the cherry on top for this legendary shooter. Honestly, this page is a goldmine for any N64 owner wanting to squeeze every last drop of fun out of their games. This page is a treasure trove of tips for Turok 3, Shadow of Oblivion, guiding you through the epic boss battle against the Oblivion. It details how to take down this formidable foe by using specific weapons and strategies, even mentioning the PSG weapon's effectiveness. Elsewhere, the page features an extensive list of cheats and tips for a multitude of N64 games, covering everything from flight simulators to fighting games and sports titles, with a handy helpline number for those desperate for more gaming advice. This page is a call to action for readers to send in their own gaming tips and cheats, with the promise of seeing their name in print and winning a prize. It features tips for Banjo-Kazooie, specifically bear and bird busting tips with a mention of wicked cheats to get to later levels. There's also a section for the Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask, offering a solution for navigating the tricky Snowhead dungeon, and a tip for the Deku Mask. Finally, WWF No Mercy gets a spotlight with a weapon frenzy tip for obtaining new weapons and a swap shop strategy for exchanging unwanted ones in the ring. It's a classic gamer's corner, jam-packed with essential advice for N64 enthusiasts. This page is a gamer's dream, packed with tips and tricks for some classic Nintendo 64 titles. We've got the Masters, introducing us to the world of WWF No Mercy, with a strategy guide to dominate the ring, focusing on grapple and pin tactics. Then, it's off to Resident Evil 2, for a rather gruesome but effective, crocodile killing method, involving a gas cylinder. Delightfully macabre. The Your Tips section continues its reader-submitted wisdom with advice for the world is not enough, specifically how to sneak past those pesky guards. Finally, we have new ways to play, showcasing reader submissions for Twine, 3-on-1 and another gem for WWF No Mercy, highlighting strategies for multiplayer domination. It's a fantastic showcase of community knowledge and gaming prowess. This page is all about the readers proving their gaming mettle with this month's tough challenges. We've got King's Ransom in Twine, where the fastest time is the name of the game. Plus, in WWF No Mercy, it's a quick cage match against HH. The results are in, and it's a fantastic display of skill. James Jackson absolutely blitzed WWF No Mercy in just 21 seconds, and Richard Hyens is flying high with a whopping 2,800,040 in Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time. It looks like the competition is seriously heating up. This page is a colossal challenge from Rare, asking you to prove your mettle in their Mega Challenge. It's all about scoring big in GoldenEye 007, specifically on the crash site confrontation level. The new Rare Mega Challenge is a real test of skill, and frankly, if you think you're good enough, you should definitely enter. You need to get a good score, take a picture or video of your stats, and send it in. The top players will get to go to Nom Towers for a deathmatch duel. So get practicing on those multiplayer levels, and make sure you include your phone number, so they can actually contact you if you win. The closing date for entries is Friday the 27th of April, 2001, and the final itself will take place on Saturday, the 12th of May 2001. So get your act together, and prove you're the ultimate Rare gamer. This page delivers a walkthrough for the Bond shooter, The World Is Enough, specifically focusing on Part 2. It guides players through the stealth-required mission, detailing how to navigate underground tunnels without raising suspicion. We're treated to a series of screenshots showing Bond's progress, from evading guards and talking to pilots to finding Christmas Jones and dealing with the aftermath of a gunfight. It also covers the pits section, where players need to escape a dangerous pit with guards already on the offensive. It's a thorough guide for those struggling with the game's more challenging moments. This page continues our expert walkthrough for The World Is Enough on the Nintendo 64, focusing on the latter half of the game. We delve into the tunnel vision section, offering crucial advice on how to handle those tricky corridors and the enemies within. Expect to learn how to deal with those blue-clad foes and find that all-important locator card. Then, we move on to the escape sequence, where you'll need to be quick on your feet to get out of that exploding pit. Finally, we confront the notorious Renard, detailing how to survive your first encounter with this villain. It's all about survival and smart gameplay to get you through these tough stages. This page provides a walkthrough for City of Walkways 1 and Keeping Zukovsky Alive from The World Is Enough on Nintendo 64. We learn how to find Zukovsky and then keep him alive through a series of challenges, including dealing with terrorists and a rocket launcher. The heavy weapons section offers advice on taking out enemies with powerful guns and using them to your advantage, culminating in acquiring a rocket launcher, and even using a modem to complete missions. It's all about smart tactics and getting the best gear to succeed in this Bond adventure. This page dives into two more sections, for The World Is Enough on Nintendo 64, Helicopters, and Helicopter Gunship. The Helicopters part offers a step-by-step guide with 8 numbered images, detailing how to navigate the mission. It covers picking up ammo, dealing with doors, and even how to use the environment, like shooting guards and clearing ramps. It seems to be a pretty straightforward walkthrough for those struggling with this particular section. Then we move on to Helicopter Gunship, which is described as the hardest fight in the game. This section is split into 4 images, guiding players through taking down a helicopter. It emphasizes using the Sentinel weapon, keeping the crosshair steady on the chopper until missiles explode, and repeating the process until it's destroyed. It also gives advice on advancing after the helicopter is gone. Frankly, anyone who can master this fight is probably ready for a real-life helicopter gunship. This page guides you through the turncoat mission in the world is not enough on the Nintendo 64. It's a pretty involved walkthrough with 16 screenshots, detailing every step from starting with no weapons to the final showdown. The advice is sharp, telling you to grab ammo, deal with the various terrorists lurking around, and even how to use the environment to your advantage, like blowing up explosive barrels. It seems like a proper challenge, but this guide should have you mastering the mission in no time. They even throw in some wisdom about avoiding friendly fire, which is always a good shout in these sorts of games. It finishes with a rather ominous "well done, Bond," which is a nice touch. This page offers a walkthrough for 2 missions from the world is not enough on the Nintendo 64, Fallen Angels and Carnage. For Fallen Angels, it guides players through picking up weapons, dealing with Zukovsky's corpse, and progressing through the level with a focus on taking out enemies and collecting items like the scanner. The Carnage section, on the other hand, is all about pure action, emphasizing shooting 'em-ups and managing scarce ammo. It details how to navigate the environment, eliminate terrorists, and even use specific mechanics like grappling through a hatch. The screenshots clearly show the action-packed gameplay and the strategic points players need to be aware of to succeed. It looks like a proper test of your shooting and survival skills, and this guide should have you covered. This page is a guide to 2 missions from the world is not enough on the Nintendo 64, Sailor Shots and Sub-Aqua. The Sailor Shots section walks you through the level where you have to deal with terrorists disguised as sailors. It stresses the importance of using the silencer on your weapon and taking out guards quietly before they raise the alarm. There are 8 screenshots showing the progression, from stealthily dispatching guards to using a sniper rifle to clear the walkway leading to the sub. The advice is pretty straightforward: be quiet, be deadly, and don't get spotted. Moving on to Sub-Aqua, this part of the guide focuses on infiltrating a submarine. You'll need to cross a walkway, climb down a ladder, and navigate the vessel while dealing with alarms and guards. The screenshots illustrate the claustrophobic interiors and the moment you finally find Christmas Jones. The guide advises using your laser watch to disable alarms and emphasizes that you can't rest until all enemies are dealt with, otherwise, Christmas won't follow you. It seems like a good mix of stealth and action to get the job done. This page offers a guide to 2 missions from the world is not enough on the Nintendo 64. The control section, with its 6 screenshots, details how to navigate the submarine, blast alarms, and clear out enemies to find Christmas Jones. Meanwhile, the Jones section, also with 7 screenshots, focuses on locating and rescuing Christmas Jones. It highlights the importance of destroying steering controls to finish the mission. The guide gives tips on dealing with guards and alarms, and a successful rescue will lead to a cutscene. It's a solid walkthrough for those struggling with these particular submarine-based challenges. This page provides a walkthrough for 2 challenging missions in the world is not enough on the Nintendo 64. First up is Meltdown, which sounds like a bit of a nightmare, involving navigating a leaky submarine with dwindling oxygen. It's a tense swim, folks, so keep an eye on that blue bar. Then we move on to Upside Down, a mission that's as disorienting as it sounds, with the game offering guidance on landmark recognition to avoid getting lost. It seems like a proper head-scratcher, with plenty of tricky turns and even a dead sailor to contend with. This page offers expert tips for surviving the final stages of the world is not enough on the Nintendo 64. We're treated to a walkthrough for the Dryland section, guiding players through eliminating Renard and his goons, and then the Escape mission, which involves a daring bid for freedom from a sinking submarine, complete with a well-deserved martini reward. The final segment details the boss battle against Renard himself, assuring us it's not as tough as it sounds, a satisfying conclusion to a challenging game. This page is all about Pokemon Puzzle League, and it seems Ash and Pikachu are back to help us tackle this blockbusting challenge. We're given a breakdown of the game's core mechanics, including how to strain your brain by creating combos and chains for those all-important megascores. It also highlights different block types like water, fire, leaf, heart, circle, diamond, and the Pokeball itself. The page features screenshots demonstrating successful combos and chains, with tips on how to achieve them for a big fat score. There's even a quote from the We Said section saying, "If you're a puzzle fan or a Pokemaniac, you're sure to love this title." It also mentions checking up on the rules with Oak's lab and hints at a frantic training session with Tracy and Meryl. Sounds like a proper brain workout for any Pokemon fan. This page is a masterclass in Pokemon Puzzle League strategy, offering invaluable tips for aspiring Pokemon masters. We dive into the rich rewards for those conquering the Stadium mode, listing all the prestigious badges and medals up for grabs, from Brock Boulder Badge to the coveted Bruno Elite Medal. Then, it's onto the more rubbish side of the game, detailing how to deal with opponents' trash blocks by chaining combos and learning to spot those telltale color shifts before they unleash their nasty surprises. The Pokeball blocks are the real sneaky devils here, and the guide explains how to effectively use them to your advantage. Finally, the top tip section offers advice on scrolling the screen to get the best view of your opponent's impending doom. It's all about mastering those combos and chains to achieve victory in the Puzzle League arena, ensuring you leave your rivals hung in shame. This page is a cracking guide to the Clocktown map in the Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask, and it's a real lifesaver for navigating this complex adventure. It covers the main areas like Snowhead, the Fairies Fountain, Great Bay Coast, and the Swamp, along with the Bomber's Hideout and Ikana Canyon. We also get a peek at the magical magic beans, explaining how to find them and the secrets they unlock. Plus, there's a handy key identifying 13 key locations within Clocktown, from the post office to the town shooting gallery. It's a must-have for anyone struggling to get their head around Termina's many secrets. This page delves into the mysteries of the Lens of Truth and the hot water springs in the Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask. First up, we're shown how to obtain the Lens of Truth, a rather crucial item if you want to see through those pesky invisible platforms. It involves a bit of a trek to Goron Village, a flight with an owl, and some feather-based platforming. Nothing too taxing for a seasoned adventurer like yourself. Then, it's off to thaw out a rather chilly Goron chief in the hot water springs. Apparently he's stuck in an icy predicament, and you'll need the Lens of Truth to follow his ghostly shadow and visit his tomb. Rather morbid, but hey, vital information is at stake. Once you've got that sorted, it's time to rock out with the Goron mask to strengthen yourself and pull a tombstone, revealing the aforementioned hot springs. Sounds like a proper spa day is in order for that Goron. This page is a guide to some essential tips and tricks for the Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask, focusing on forging your sword and getting a Pona. First, it explains how to forge your sword by visiting the Goron tomb and then the shop with gold dust, which makes combat a bit easier. It also covers how to get the powder kegs, which are needed to blast through large boulders, by completing the Snowhead Temple and speaking to a Goron. You can then purchase them for 50 rupees. Next, the guide details how to get a Pona. You'll need to have completed the Snowhead Temple first. Then, you head to Romani Ranch and talk to Romani, who will ask you to pop balloons while riding a Pona. Successfully doing so will teach you a Pona's song, allowing you to call her any time. It seems a Pona is rather elusive, but these steps should have you galloping across Hyrule in no time. This guide details obtaining several key masks in the Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask, essential for Link's journey. The Deku Mask is received early from the Mask Man, while Cafes and the Fairy Masks come from Clock Town residents. More challenging masks include the Goron Mask, requiring the Lens of Truth and Song of Healing, the Blast Mask, stolen from a midnight thief, and the All-Night Mask, stopping a thief and listening to stories. Other masks detailed are the Mask of Scents, Deku Palace Lily Pad Trail, Kamaro's Mask, Song of Healing for a Mushroom Resident, Bunny Hood and Bremen Mask, Chicken Herding, and Garrow's Mask, Gorman Brothers Race. The guide promises further mask acquisition tips in a future installment, making it a valuable resource for players. This is a nostalgic look back at the reader letters section of Nintendo Official Magazine. The staff responded to reader opinions on popular games like Pokemon Gold and Silver, and the emerging Harry Potter games, with their characteristic wit. Reader Paul Mathers won Mario's winner for his enthusiastic praise of the Pokemon movie's animation, while others like Sean White and Sam Jones also received recognition for their thoughts. The Bowser's Prison segment asked readers to choose 3 N64 games to take to Bowser's Lair, with Subhan Dalvi selecting Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, GoldenEye, and Perfect Dark. The collection of letters provides a fun glimpse into the gaming landscape and reader passions of the time, particularly surrounding Pokemon and N64 titles, and highlights the magazine's engaging interaction with its audience. This page is a fantastic peek into the reader mailbag, with a Mario's hit list section where you get to see what the readers are actually thinking about games. We've got questions ranging from how far people would go for a Game Boy Advance, to what they think of the 100 new Pokémon, and even Sega's output on the GBA. Some cracking opinions are shared here, like Kate Jones from Brighton, who is clearly a massive Pokémon fan, or Jacob Ratner from Surrey, who's still waxing lyrical about the original Pokémon games. Then we move on to the game or lame section, where the readers get to have their say on whether new games are brilliant or a bit naff. This time, Gary Darkin from Aberdeen has submitted Zelda on Horseback for the GameCube, which sounds like a racing game, and the feedback suggests it's a pretty decent idea with a good touch for character details. It's got a proper retro feel, with a screenshot that looks like it's straight out of the N64 era, and the description mentions racing with weapons and a whip. Sounds like my kind of chaos. We also have some cracking reader comments on games like GoldenEye and Perfect Dark, with Jerry Muncure from Dundee championing the awesome collection. It's a really lively read, capturing that classic Nintendo magazine spirit. This page is a fantastic peek into the reader mailbag, with a Mario's hit list section where you get to see what the readers are actually thinking about games. We've got questions ranging from how far people would go for a Game Boy Advance, to what they think of the 100 new Pokémon, and even Sega's output on the GBA. Some cracking opinions are shared here, like Kate Jones from Brighton, who is clearly a massive Pokémon fan, or Jacob Ratner from Surrey, who's still waxing lyrical about the original Pokémon games. Then we move on to the game or lame section, where the readers get to have their say on whether new games are brilliant or a bit naff. This time, Gary Darkin from Aberdeen has submitted Zelda on Horseback for the GameCube, which sounds like a racing game, and the feedback suggests it's a pretty decent idea with a good touch for character details. It's got a proper retro feel, with a screenshot that looks like it's straight out of the N64 era, and the description mentions racing with weapons and a whip. Sounds like my kind of chaos. We also have some cracking reader comments on games like GoldenEye and Perfect Dark, with Jerry Muncure from Dundee championing the awesome collection. It's a really lively read, capturing that classic Nintendo magazine spirit. We've also got a very special feature introducing the WWF Superstar interviews, so get your questions ready. This page is all about reader power. We're launching the Nintendo Top 100 Reader Vote, and it's your chance to tell us what's what. Forget focusing just on games. This is about all things Nintendo past and future, so get your thinking caps on, dig out those favorite titles and memories, and let us know your personal top 10. There's even a prize for the best entries, so make sure your handwriting is as sharp as your gaming skills. This page is a competition feature titled Blagfest, offering readers a chance to win copies of Pokémon Gold and Silver for the Game Boy Color. The question asks for the Japanese name of a specific Pokémon, with multiple choice answers provided. It's a classic Pokémon competition really, hoping to snag some extra copies for the lucky few. This page is all about competitions to win some cracking video games. First up, we've got a chance to win Batman of the Future, Return of the Joker on 64. It's a quiz to test your movie knowledge, asking about Mark Hamill's role in Star Wars. I mean, who doesn't know that? Then, there's a chance to snag Tweety's high-flying adventure, requiring you to name the owner of our favorite feathered friend. Finally, for all you Monster fans, there's a competition to win Monster Mania, with a question about a certain Scottish loch resident. Remember to send your answers in on a postcard, and good luck, you'll need it. This page is all about the Nintendo official magazine's Pokémon Tour, focusing on Round 2, which hit Ipswich and Southampton. We get a recap of the events, with the non-masters, including the Pokémon World Champion Darren van Vuren, taking on challengers. There's a photo of the Ipswich event, showing loads of trainers eager to compete. The page also features profiles of some of the masters and top trainers, like Dave McComb and Alex C., highlighting their chosen Pokémon and giving some tips. It's a great snapshot of the early Pokémon scene and the dedication of its fans. This page delves into the Nintendo official magazine's Pokémon Tour, showcasing the Ipswich and Southampton events. In Ipswich, the non-Pokémoniacs faced a deluge of challengers, with some brave souls managing to beat the formidable Dave and snag a gold badge. Apparently Darren, the Pokémon World Champion, found his Pokémon frozen solid. A rather convenient excuse for losing, wouldn't you say? The page is peppered with photos of eager trainers, a young lad clutching a Pikachu plush for good luck, and another looking a bit worried before a battle, needing more training. The action then shifts to Southampton, where Tim and Dave battled it out, with Tim's Articuno being mercilessly defeated by Mewtwo's. Dave, however, managed to clinch a gold badge, leaving Tim to ponder his losses but still be a good sport. We see photos of these trainers, the victorious Tim and Dave, and a family enjoying the event. The Nintendo Mew machine was a huge hit, with hundreds of trainers queuing up for a go. It really captures the early Pokémon craze and the sheer enthusiasm of the fans. This page is a celebration of all things Pokémon, starting with a fun feature called A Face in the Crowd. It's a call out for fans spotted at the Pokémon Tour, with a prize for anyone who can identify themselves in the featured photo. Then we're introduced to Pokemaniac of the Month, Maria Mieto, who's designed some rather snazzy Pokémon-themed clothing. Following that, we get a look at Pokémon is Good for You, highlighting a range of Pokémon-themed vitamins that look like a tasty way to get your daily dose of goodness. The page concludes with a Who Does What section, detailing the team behind Nintendo Official Magazine, and some subscription details, all very informative stuff for any dedicated Nintendo fan. This page is a massive advert for game, focusing on Game Boy Color and N64 titles. We've got some cracking bundle offers, including a Game Boy Color with Pokemon Gold or Silver for £74.99, and a Pikachu N64 console with Mario Tennis for £109.99. Plus, there are discounts on individual games like Pokemon Pinball, Pokemon Gold and Silver, and Pokemon Blue and Red. It's a veritable treasure trove for any gamer looking to expand their collection. This page is all about Paper Mario, the latest adventure for our favorite plumber on the Nintendo 64. It looks like a real treat, with Mario and Luigi invited to a feast at Princess Peach's castle, which, naturally, gets rather chaotic. The gameplay seems to be turn-based, much like Pokémon, where you have to strategize your attacks. We get a peek at some screenshots showing Mario in action and Bowser looking as menacing as ever. The game is by Nintendo, a role-playing game, and it's set to release in late 2001. It's highlighted as Mario's back, with cool RPG action and featuring Nintendo heroes, which is always a good sign. This page is a vibrant showcase for Paper Mario, really hammering home the unique visual style of this Nintendo 64 RPG. We see Mario and his pals, including a rather surprised-looking Goomba, and a surprisingly slender Princess Peach, interacting with the game's charming papercraft world. The page highlights different scenarios, like the Mario brothers leaving home, a grand castle, and a confrontation with the ever-villainous Bowser, who appears to be wielding a rather potent magic wand. There's also a mention that the flat characters explore gorgeous 3D worlds, which is a neat trick. The reviewer seems quite chuffed, declaring it one of Mario's best, and even comparing it favorably to Super Mario RPG on the Super NES. All in all, it paints a picture of a delightful and visually stunning adventure. This page gives us a glimpse into Indiana Jones and the Infernal Machine on the N64, with a few screenshots and a preview of what's to come. The reviewer is clearly excited, calling it a fresh batch of shots, and looking forward to a full review next issue. They're particularly impressed with the game's graphics, and mention that it features all the classic Indy moves, including his trusty whip and pistol, which is always a good sign. The game sounds like it's packed with puzzles and action, and the locations, especially the secluded beach, look pretty stunning. It's all building up to what sounds like a cracking adventure, and we even get a hint that it'll be a hit on the N64. Plus, there's a chance to win Game Boy Advances with the latest Japanese launch titles, so keep an eye out for that. This page is a rather colourful advert for crazymobile.co.uk, promising all new ringtones and logos for your Nokia phone. It's a bit of a blast from the past with its all new look different, sound different slogan and the rather cheerful "Yeah baby" tagline. You can download logos and ringtones for a whole host of brands, from Adidas and M&M to Marilyn Manson and the Spice Girls, with phone numbers listed for each. The page is packed with logos and the promise of a personalize your Nokia Now experience, all topped off with a hotline number to call. It's a vibrant, if slightly chaotic, advertisement for a bygone era of mobile phone customization. This page is a rather dramatic illustration featuring 3 characters in medieval garb, 2 knights in full armor, and a warrior woman in revealing black attire. They're posed around a large tree, swords drawn, ready for action. The overall impression is one of impending adventure and perhaps a boss battle, hinting at the epic fantasy settings often found in Nintendo 64 titles. It's a striking piece that would certainly grab your attention in a magazine. This page gives us a first look at Aiding Chronicles, an RPG adventure for the Nintendo 64. It seems to be a classic fantasy tale, with Alaron, a young orphan, embarking on a quest to save his world. The game promises huge worlds to explore, and features 13 playable characters, which is quite a number for the time. We're treated to some screenshots showing off the graphical style, which looks pretty decent for the N64, with varied environments like a wilderness, desert, and sea. The combat system is described as turn-based, a la Pokémon, rather than the real-time swordplay seen in Zelda. It sounds like it could be a solid RPG experience for N64 owners looking for something new. The reviewer seems cautiously optimistic, noting that it's been in development for a long time and might be a good alternative to Link's quests. This page dives into the upcoming Rayman Advance for the Game Boy Advance, showcasing some vibrant screenshots that prove the handheld can indeed pack a visual punch, looking remarkably similar to its N64 predecessor. It's confirmed to boast fantastic colors and link-up capabilities, which is always a good sign for multiplayer fun. We also get a quick roundup of other gaming news. The Matrix is apparently heading to GameCube as a 3D action-adventure, hot stuff. And Metroid is getting a makeover, potentially shifting to a first-person shooter style. Game Boy Advance is getting a month earlier than expected in June, which is great news for those eager to get their hands on it. There's also a rumor about the GBA running Windows Millennium Edition, which sounds utterly bonkers and likely a hoax, but hey, it's the GBA, anything's possible. Plus, we get a sneak peek at The Simpsons, Treehouse of Horror for Game Boy Color, promising hilarious Halloween-themed adventures with playable characters like Bart and Homer. It sounds like a real treat for fans of the show, and with over 2.7 million pre-orders for the GBA in Japan, the console is clearly making a massive splash. This page is a vibrant full-page advert for Pokémon Puzzle League on the Nintendo 64, showcasing the colorful tile-matching gameplay. It features the iconic Charmander and Pikachu, with the tagline, "Do you have what it takes to face the wall?" This page is all about the exciting rumors surrounding Nintendo and Sega, and let me tell you, it's a juicy read. We've got Sonic the Hedgehog gracing a Nintendo machine, which is, frankly, a bit bonkers, but who knows, it might be the end for Mario. There's also talk of Sega becoming a software developer, making games for everyone, including Nintendo. And get this, Sega and Nintendo are reportedly cooking up a secret RPG for the GameCube. Color me intrigued. Plus, we get a glimpse of some Sega titles heading to Game Boy Advance, like Sonic, Puyo Puyo, and the Madcap Choo Choo Rocket. The reviewer seems to think the GBA version of Choo Choo Rocket Advance is looking particularly promising. The We Think section is pure speculation, but suggests a positive future for Nintendo's consoles with Sega's potential involvement. Honestly, the thought of Sega games on Nintendo hardware is something to behold. This page is a mail-order advert from Direct Intellect Limited, specialists in Game Boy Color, and Nintendo 64. They're offering a vast array of games and accessories, from Pokemon Gold/Silver and Zelda Seeds, to Nintendo 64 controllers and games like Mario Kart 64 and Super Mario 64. It's a veritable treasure trove for any Nintendo fan looking to expand their collection with new and exciting titles. This page is the cover of the Nintendo official magazine, boldly proclaiming, "We're the biggest and best." Next month, it highlights the upcoming issue as the biggest and best, promising an exclusive look at games, with a special, "Go buy it the 12th of April" tag. We get a sneak peek at reviews for Indiana Jones and the Infernal Machine, with a promise of adventures sussed, meeting heroes and villains, amazing graphics, and whip-cracking mayhem. Also featured is an update on Game Boy Advance and GameCube, and a review of Banjo-Kazooie, questioning if you have what it takes to defeat Grunt and his cronies. Plus, it teases game guides and cheat codes. This page is an absolute cracker. We've got Conker looking his finest front and center for what promises to be an exclusive first review. The mag is hyping up the game with bullet points that scream, "Cute rare heroes, rude gameplay, and risky jokes," so you know it's going to be a wild ride. Plus, they're throwing in all you need to know for good measure. And if that wasn't enough, there are some cracking tips for Pokemon Gold and Silver, and a nod to the Game Boy Color with its hottest reviews and tips. This is shaping up to be a proper good read for any self-respecting gamer. This page is a fantastic deep dive into the world of Kane from WWF Masters. We get a look at the man himself, with his iconic mask and fiery persona, dominating the cover. The fact file gives us some juicy details, including his impressive 70 height, and a whopping 326 pounds of pure power, with his finishing move being the chokeslam. No surprises there. The Did You Know section reveals he conquered Stone Cold Steve Austin for the WWF Championship in '98 and has been a 4-time tag team champion. Plus, we learn he uses visions of fire to his advantage, which frankly sounds terrifying and brilliant. There are also some cracking action shots of Kane in the ring, showcasing his dominance. A truly epic spread for any wrestling fan. This page is a massive advertisement for UKGames.com, offering a vast array of Nintendo 64, Game Boy and Game Boy Color games, consoles and accessories. You can snag classic titles like Turok Rage Wars, Duke Nukem 64, and Carmageddon 64 for free, with a reserve membership, which costs a mere £6.99. They've also got some rather fetching free mains adapters and rechargeable battery packs thrown in, all in pursuit of your hard-earned cash. Honestly, it's a veritable smorgasbord of gaming goodness. This page is a full-page advert for Batman of the Future on Cartoon Network, featuring Batman himself and promoting the show as the second highest-rated program for boys.